What's up, everyone? Man, I know it's strange me coming on this time of night. I needed a little break after the Boston video. That was the hardest video I've made by far. No comparison. All the other ones, Tool, easy. I'm trying to think. I can't think of any of the ones that I've made in the series. This was by far the most difficult one. Why is it the hardest? Like the end solo, for example, I couldn't, by the time, so I started on the video yesterday, did a few hours on it, and then today started at 10 o'clock this morning. And, I had to learn the entire song and the guitar. So when I got to the end, after about 17 hours, I got to that last part of the solo, and I was like, I just can't get my fingers to do it. I didn't learn the end of the solo. It was, and if any of you that haven't watched the end of the video, it's pretty funny. I just gave up on it. But it was funny. There's, for those of you that saw it, I had a buddy of mine stop by out of the blue, John Hopkins, who's the bass player for the Zac Brown Band. And I've known John for, 20 years, 25 years. I don't even know. I've known him since I moved to Atlanta. And he used to have a studio that I worked at all the time. What's up, Brett? And so he stopped by and he was like, what are you working on? And I said, I'm working on this video, Boston video. He goes, what tune? I said, Peace of Mind. He goes, oh, I love that tune. I said, great. Why don't you come in and play bass? He was coming to pick something up. I said, why don't you play bass on this one section? And he goes, oh, yeah, what is it? And then all of a sudden he looks. He's like, man, wow. He hears the bass line. He's like, whoa, this is unbelievable. And the bass playing, Tom Schultz bass playing, Tom Schultz organ playing is unbelievable. If I had some more time, I'm just getting my hand back in shape here. I got my M3 organ out. I got my sound kicked up, but I would have to have learned that whole solo. If I spent a couple weeks on that video, Tom Schultz spent years recording that. But it's really amazing that he played all those parts. It took him he worked on that for years. Tom did not play drums and he didn't sing. He played everything else. He played the bass. He played the organ. He played all the guitars. So Brad Delp sang. Sib Hashian played the drums, but that was it. No Pro Tools. But I saw interviews with him that Barry Goudreau did not play on the record. That's all Tom Schultz, all those guitar sounds. He did it. He did not make the amp. This is the thing that people don't realize, that Tom played through a Marshall. He invented the Power Soak. I'm sure a prototype of it. Hold on. Which I've got right here. Which I still use, believe it or not. That's my Tom Schultz Power Soak that still works. So he built his own attenuator so he could play in his house, his Marshall, and get that incredible gain feel. And then he used like a half-cocked wah to get that sound. He didn't build the Rockman until long after, a few years after. This is what I used. I showed in the video, but not that close. So I figured out years, back in the 70s, I was like, that's a wah pedal on it, halfway down. There's no Rockman on it. He did not use the Rockman on the record. He used a real amp, and he used a wah-wah pedal. So it's really, and I'm sure he EQ'd it After. Yeah, he built the Rockman. He has a master's degree in what, electrical engineering from MIT. Brilliant guy. He worked for Polaroid in the day and recorded his record at night. I think he started the record probably around 73. He built the Rockman. He built all these different effects. Everybody was using them. There's one Def Leppard record, I think, that they used a Rockman on everything. But absolutely brilliant guy. Great keyboard player. Great bass player. And that bass sound is one of the best bass sounds I've heard on a rock record. So everything perfectly in tune. Those dual leads, oh man. They're all doubled. Then they'll do that dry sound in the center. Then it go back to doubling. And it's really one of the... I started playing guitar right when that record. I started playing guitar in 75. And, that came out in 76. Frampton Comes Alive came out then. The Hotel California came out that year. But this was just sonically like nothing else. No one had ever heard anything like that. It's just absolutely brilliant. It's a masterpiece. It is. 17 million records in the U.S., 31 million records worldwide. The thing where he plays the organ and does the pitch change. He does the pitch change by slowing down the wheel. I think he's pressing down on the tape. The only way you can make a Hammond bend pitch is by pressing down on the reel as it's going and then letting up or pressing down on it. So on playback, the pitch rises. So you'd have to play the seventh and then what's it go? Da, 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 and then I think it's on the flat seven. It goes up to the I can't remember. Unbelievable. Tom Scholz was an alien. He was at work when he got a call from Atlantic Records or from A&M Records saying that they were going to sign him. And he freaked out. He said he jumped up on his desk and couldn't believe it. Tom mixed the record. So they hired a producer, and the producer was a smart guy. He went out to L.A. with the rest of the band while Tom was working on mixing the record. And he knew that they could never beat what Tom did. So they went out and they cut one song, and he pretended that they were recording the record out there. And they turned in Tom's mixes, and it's, the rest is history. He laughs about that. I mean, nobody could have done a job like that. The guy's a genius. I mean, that's absolutely brilliant. He wrote all the lyrics. He wrote all the melodies, everything. Brad Delp, I think, was credited on one song, Take You Home Tonight, I think it is, which is actually a great song. Really great song. I think that's the only one they did with the other producer. When they played live, it was a 5-piece band. I have a picture of the band on there. Interesting, sad thing, the drummer, Sib, died 1 year ago today at age 67, ironically. And his wife, the drummer's daughter is married to The Rock. So, anyways, Hitch a Ride to me has always been my favorite song on that record. The guitar solo, it's the best playing on the record. It's, just unreal. What's up, Elliot? I never saw them live. They did not tour a lot. And Tom is one of the first guys to sue a record label. They tried to force him to release a record, and it wasn't ready. And he sued the label and won. It was one of the first lawsuits against a record label where an artist won. And Tom Scholz did that. So, there's a lot of people that, that learned that, wow, you can beat these labels at this stuff. So, yeah, I don't think that they were great live. The stuff was way too difficult to do. It was such a studio, such a studio band. There's some good songs on "Don't Look Back." You know, Tom. I watched an interview with him. He was in his studio and he had pieces of tape. I think he did it on a 1-inch. No, he didn't. Must have done a 2-inch tape, 2-inch 24 track. But he had pieces of tape stuck up on the wall, and he talked about that was "Don't Look Back." Those were part of the drum take, and he knew to go in and cut it with a razor blade, and you know, would change the timing just like you do in Pro Tools. Francisco asked what parts of the live sound came short. I'm sure the vocals, the background vocals and things. I know Brad could sing the stuff, but you got to have, you know, there's all those harmony parts. Anyways, I mean, it's just amazing, absolutely amazing. And that was, you know, like I said, it was the hardest video I've done of any of these. What makes this song great? I was going down my list and thinking about it, and you know, there's no comparison. So it just, you know, no Pro Tools. The singing was incredible. Everything. He was a Randy Razorblade predecessor, Andre. That's right. Way. No, Steely Dan wasn't nearly that hard. No. Steely Dan was easy compared to that. The Larry Carlton solo is easier to play than the Hitch Ride solo, believe it or not. It's probably just because I'm really out of shape with string bends and stuff like that, you know. And especially bends, you know, a lot of the things that Tom Scholz does are, you think that they're standard rock licks, but they're not. So, some of them are really tricky to play. Some of those trills. You know, I can play the Leonard Skinner licks. I'm going to do a Freebird one, I think. So, but the Hammond sound is phenomenal on there. His ear for sound is unbelievable. I bought an M3 with a 147 because I love the sound of that Boston record so much. And it sounds just like that. It's a B3 with 41 keys. It's got two what's the term? Jeez, what do they call it? Well, it's got the two split keyboards. And, you know, I was reading Steve Lukather talked about Tom Scholz was a huge Tom Scholz fan. Many guitar players were. A lot of the 80s people worship Tom. He came out before Van Halen. He was out before any of these guys. And, you know, just an absolute genius. And his company was incredibly successful. That built Rockmans. Everyone owned Rockmans. Rick makes learning guitar solos look so easy. Well, you know, come on. Does the organ solo seem sped up? No, he totally can play those. Tom started out as a pianist, classical pianist. But the albums all said no synths. Boris just said that on there. Proudly proclaimed no synths. I didn't mention, I did the pick drags. I didn't even talk about them because I was trying to edit the video down. But that's called a pick drag. And he always did it with a ton of delay on it. And, you know, everybody did those. Van Halen did those after. Everyone that did pick drags, it's because of Tom Scholz. So he'd be great on sounding off, actually. That organ solo, I put it on by itself so you guys could really hear it. I mean, you can hear it in the recording, but it's pretty astounding. Yeah. So I had to put my pick drags in there. I call them pick drags. I think it sounds better than pick scrapes. If you guys want to get a cheap version of a B3 that doesn't take up as much room that you can move, you can't really move it around that well, but I put it into my Honda Pilot years ago when I bought it. I bought it for $500. No, not even 500, $350. I bought it from a shop up in Nashville, and um, it's just been great since then. I probably have to get a little work done. I haven't turned it on in about a year or so. Uh, but it worked perfectly fine. It's a little noisy right now. You could hear the hum from it, but the 147 though, the Leslie, it was just for the organ. The 147 was I paid $1,200 for it or something, but it's in really good shape. Yeah, $350, Andre, for the Leslie, 1,200, so 1,700 for the whole gig. I mean, you buy a B3, you spend a fortune. Peter, yes, I do oil it. They have 3 oil reservoirs. That's great that you know that. Well, you're old school, so you would know that. The there's Hammond oil that you have to put in there. Thank you for reminding me too, Peter, because I need to do it. I haven't done it in a long time, but they have 3 reservoirs in the back that you need to fill up to keep full. You should do it at once a year or so to make sure that they're full. But blinker fluid, it's some type of oil. I don't know what it is, but you fill the reservoirs and you keep them in good shape. So I don't have a guitar hookup for it. I need to buy one so that I can do my Peter Frampton impersonation. Yeah, oil in the organ. Yep. If you move them, make sure lock down the tone wheel. That's right. That's right. But I love playing a real organ. There's nothing like playing a Hammond organ. Nothing like it. It's exciting. The kids love playing on it, and it's just great. Eric Clapton and Cream. I mean, nothing sounds better behind a guitar than an organ. Ask Wes Montgomery. It's that's. I like Joey DeFrancesca when he's soloing. There's a great video with him and Pat Martino playing Olio on YouTube from a live concert, and when you see him play, and you see him hover over the keys, and man, he just smokes. Just smokes. Love it. It does. Does have so much power. So, anyways, that's another thing. That's why I wanted to reach back to some of these songs from the '70s. I'm gonna do some '60s stuff. I want to do some Motown. I'll do some episodes with some Motown, and I want to. I definitely want to do that. Yeah, so that's coming in the future. So it's interesting. I wasn't going to come on tonight. I was just like kind of chilling out, and I was watching another YouTube channel. There's a guy named Andrew Huang. I don't know if you know Andrew. He's got a million. He's got a million more subscribers than me. He's a music producer that does a lot of electronic music. And he does a lot of synthesizer demos, drum machine demos, things like that, and makes beats with really weird sounds. He's really talented guy. And he was just talking. He's been going crazy on his YouTube channel for years. What's up, Carol? I'm supposed to be resting. I know I can't. Everybody say hi to Carol. Carol was in here all day slaving away, helping me out, and I need to thank her I should have thanked her in the credits. I need to think to do that. Anyways, thank you, Carol. I'm thanking you here in front of everybody. She's indispensable. She's really doing great. So So anyway, so I was watching Andrew, and he talked about how he's cutting back on his YouTube schedule. That he can't. He's been doing it for 2 years straight, and and he only does 2 uploads a week. And he talked about how difficult it is, how grueling it is, and it's fascinating to watch. You should watch the episode. I um, I sent a copy to my wife. I emailed a copy to tell her to watch it. I don't know if she'll watch it, but uh, this is a tough job. I mean, um, you know, I'm on here. Um, Andrew's got a great work ethic. Try doing 4 videos a week, Andrew. I really, really like Andrew's work. He's a really talented guy. Uh, it's um, he's in his I think he's 37 or so. But his videos look great, really look great. Um, so, but watching that made me come on tonight. Um, Sense is working overtime, a lot of editing. Yeah, his editing is amazing. It's really great. I mean, I don't edit like that. That's not my forte. Um, but I'm getting by, I guess. I try and come up with some new stuff. I left a blooper in today. Carol told me, leave that in. That's funny. I kept saying the wrong thing. I play a chord and I kept saying on A over C, I kept saying A over C sharp or A flat over C. I said A flat over C sharp or A over C sharp or A. I kept screwing it up. I don't know why. Um, anyways, I don't need fancy editing. Thank you. Thanks, Tom. Um, yeah, so anyways, I was thinking when I was listening to him talk about his channel and how he's taking a break now, and he's not going to be on a regular upload schedule. It's kind of what Casey Neistat did. Uh, he got burned out on it, and I'm not saying I'm getting burned out. You guys know that I haven't. I've been on the same path since 1975 or so. Never wavering. But it's a lot of work, and this one was especially difficult. But I tested it here the other night, and I knew that they didn't demonetize it, but it didn't. They didn't take it down. So that's why it was great for me to come on here and do this. Worlds just said Casey became a millionaire. Big difference. That's true. Um, you know, by doing these videos, it's cut my income back from YouTube. I mean, I make probably, I mean, I get a lot of views on these things that are not monetized. So, um, anyways, I wish that people watched more of my jazz videos and would go back and watch some of my older videos. I really, really do that. I have a playlist that is a recommended playlist that's on there, um, and there. Hint, hint. Oh, by the way, go watch my first video with Dylan. It's at 999,255. If everybody on here clicked on it a couple times and watched it for about 5 seconds, it'd go over 1 million tonight. It'll probably go over 1 million. I mean, it will go over 1 million tomorrow. But it'll be my second video with 1 million views. Um, um, Speaking of B3s. Anyways, yeah, so it's so this stuff is it is tough though. It's tough. It's the hours that I worked producing are about the same. The thing is that um I'm this is just as hard. It really is, but this is much more rewarding, way more. Is there any music theory topics you want to visit in the near future? Will it be what makes this thing sounding off film scoring for some time? No, no, no. There's definitely other things I want to that I want to do. Here, Joe. I know you put that on here. I'm going to unhide it. There we go. That's my son Dylan's video, his first video, and soon to be my second million view video. I never thought I would have a million view video on YouTube, let alone two of them. Um, 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 Tom, you're weaning yourself from responses to the comments. Oh man, I had some brutal ones that I've done in the last couple days. Um, so thank you for watching that, Juan, for watching the Dylan video. Dylan doesn't care, but I was thinking you should use your vintage gear knowledge and put some gear videos. There's so many. There are so many gear videos out there. I'll say that on one hand. On the other hand, I don't mean it egotistically, but it's one thing to have the gear, or it's one thing to demo the gear. It's like, but most people demo new gear, and they don't demo the real, the classic stuff. And I've been trying to, you guys know that I play classic. I mean, I try and play the classic stuff, and play them how they were played on these videos. So, but I'm about to do some really in-depth film scoring videos. It'll be a series that will be, I predict, as successful as what makes this song great. And I'm going to do some more solos. I'm going to do some more solos on my, the Art of Soloing, that series. I'm gonna do that. I'll do my pedal collection sometime. So you guys saw my new Dan Electro guitar in there. Things sounded great. I love that guitar. That's the one that they just sent me. Tom, it's amazing how quick you can reproduce those tones from classical rock. Well, I've studied these things so often in the past that when I hear something, I recognize instantly what it is, and I can get the sound in, like the Boston sound. I was like, and get it in pretty fast. Brett, does the beard mean the ear training course is finished? No, it's not finished. It is not finished, but Aaron and I are going to start working one day a week at least to try and really push it through. I got the version, the new Beato book edit, and or the Beato book version 2 edit that I'm going through right now. So hopefully that'll be done here. I just have to go through and correct it. I've already looked at all the I've already looked at all the things at the end of the book. I've gone over those. I just have to go over the text right now, make sure it's all cool. Do we have an ETA? Pretty soon. Pretty soon. I would hopefully in the next couple weeks think that I could have it ready. There's not there's not a ton of text in it, but it's it's a completely rewritten book. Honestly, and I'm really I'm really psyched. I'm really psyched about it. It's going to be killer, and it looks great. You know, I back in the late 80s or about 1990 or so, I got an offer from some company. I forget what it was. I don't know if it was Hal Leonard or something. Somebody talked to me about, I've mentioned this before, about publishing my book. And I said, I don't want to be known as some author. And that was the end of that. It's like, I don't want to publish the thing. What are you talking about? It's just for my students. But I'm glad that I found a copy. I didn't have a copy for probably 20 years. And I didn't know what happened to the original of it. So I got on Facebook about 6 years ago or so, and I asked some of my old students, does anyone have the Beato book? And one of my old students named Eric Rogers, no, it wasn't Eric. It was Andrew Anello, his name was. Andrew said, I have it. I'm going to send it to you. And he had his secretary cut the spine of the book and make double-sided or make PDFs of the whole book. And he sent it to me. And then I found my friend Pat sent me my friend Pat sent me his version of the book that from back then. I mean, it's from 1990 or so. But I mean, there was a first edition of the book. There was a later edition of the book, but I couldn't find that one. Yeah, I lost my copy. Then, after my mom passed away, my brothers and sisters cleaned out my mom's house, and there was a box in there that had my actual handwritten versions of the actual original version of the book, not bound or anything, just the actual ones that I wrote on pencil. So I have that, or in pencil. But the new book is it's way better. It's longer. It's got a lot more stuff in it. This will be the third edition. No, this will be the fourth edition, I want to say. Because I fixed some stuff that I had in that on the third one. So the way it works, Harrison asked about the price change in the new one. I don't know, probably not. I'm going to do pay what you want for people. If people want to, contribute for the new one, I'm going to send out an email to everybody when it's done. Should you wait or buy the new one? You should buy the one now, because I can't make a living if you don't. I'm just kidding. No, it's actually true. But when the new one comes out, everybody will get the same. We'll get the same deal on it. Pay what you want. If you want it for free, fine. If you want to donate $10, fine. If you want to donate $50, fine. I'm not going to stop you. But my family and myself survive on what I make from my courses and my book sales with my two. I mean, I have the book and I have my YouTube transcription thing, which I hardly sell any of. And it's a 100-page PDF. and it's a PDF of a bunch of my, I think, really good episodes. So, those of you that I don't think I don't talk about that enough. My PDF bundle is I think 21 episodes. It's 103 pages long. Andre, is a new book a complete theory book, or is there more to be explored? Oh well, there's always more to be explored. Way more to be explored. Way more to be explored. Monty, how is Neural doing? Well, Neural would be doing better if Cambridge Analytica and Neural didn't have the exact same logo. Oh, man. Somebody sent Ken, my assistant of 18 years who works for Neural. He's our support guy. I got an email from him. He sent it out to all of us. And he says, and I see from Ken, and it says Cambridge Analytica and I'm thinking, what could this be? I was in the line at Starbucks waiting in my car to get my coffee, and I was like, what is this? And I click on it, and I see the logo comes up, and it's literally the brain with the dots of our Neural logo, identical. And it said Cambridge Analytica, and all I did was, I mean, I didn't come up with the logo, but I was just thinking, oh, brother, man, it was just, we laughed so hard about that. We just cracked up about that. We thought it was so funny. And then Brian, who does our all of our web stuff, he and I were just, I know, Joe, it's 100% identical, right? I just thought it was hilarious. I mean, what are you going to do? So, maybe people will kind of say, oh, Neural, that's really familiar. I've seen that before. The guy that wrote in is one of the people that, uses the app, and he says, I'm sure you've heard this before, but but your app has the exact same logo as Cambridge Analytica. Anyways, doesn't matter. Sue them, yeah. It's not stock graphics. I was there when the dude came, the guy came up with it. He probably saw it though. He probably stole it. This guy that was doing some graphic stuff for us right at the beginning, and he's like, well, no, he actually had the brain thing like that already. He probably stole it from them. I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you. No, he did it right. He actually created it while we were sitting there. He's like, what do you think about this? And he just made it up. And I know. I mean, I was literally sitting there. He was doing it with projecting his thing on the screen, and we were looking at it. He was like, oh, that looks cool. Now put the logo out here and make it this. And anyways, so there you go. What are you going to do? Let's see. If they go sideways, the logo will be free again. Just like McDowell's. Tim, I know that reference, Coming to America. That's a Coming to America Eddie Murphy reference. Right? How many of you caught that? How many caught Tim's McDowell's? Oh, brother, McDowell's. Anybody know that movie reference that he just had? The Coming to America movie? They've got the Big Mac. We have the big, what was it? That was pretty, it's pretty funny. Yeah. He had the McDonald's manual stashed in his drawer. And he'd pull it, he'd sneak it, and he'd stick it back in there if somebody came in. Identical. That's McDonald's. We're McDowell's, right? Arsenio Hall. That's right. That's who was in it. And James Earl Jones was the dad. Louis Anderson. That's right. Okay, man. How many instruments do I play? One at a time. Um, what do I keep my temperature at? Eli asks. In the studio, 78 degrees, always. Um, Samuel Jackson, is that true? Was the guy who tried to rob the restaurant? Oh man, I gotta go watch it. John Amos was the daughter's dad, that Eddie's girlfriend's dad. That's right. It was awesome. He owned McDonald's. That's right. Um, Request: do an extemporaneous jam in real time with other musicians and another video later to break down what you did. Um, okay. I'd have to know some other musicians. Um, they haven't tried to put Michael McDonald out of business. That's funny. Um, yeah, so I don't jam with anyone ever. I don't know anyone to jam with. I don't go out to gigs. I don't do anything. I don't play gigs. I don't go out to gigs. I don't jam. Have I used vintage Maestro phasers? Absolutely, I have. Absolutely have. So I'm thinking about you are the other musicians, right? I'm waiting for Dylan to get better on his oboe. Um, soon, soon I'll be on fries, and that's when the big bucks start rolling in. Oh, that's great, Bobby. I like that. Um, does temperature affect the sound when you record drums? Well, temperature affects tuning of things. Obviously, it affects the piano. It affects the guitars. Um, I noticed in the control room here um, that I mean in the control room back there that we have vents with what do they call them? Not plenums, right? Is that what it's called? A path where it reduces the noise. Um, but if you sit under, most people do their guitar overdubs sitting on the couch, and we'll run the amp into the ISO booth, put the amps in the control room, and when the cold air blows on the guitars, they typically go sharp. Ethan knows, he's been in here playing his bass. It gets cold in there, and it affects the tuning of instruments. No question about it. Um, but plenum, okay, Joe, yeah. Diffusers with turns. There you go. Um, Cold tune strings higher. Yeah. So for the piano, I try to keep it constant for the piano because it definitely affects them. I don't think it affects drums as much, but it does affect drums too. Uh, Use the snooze in the tracking room. That's right. The couch is very cozy. I usually go in there and watch TV on my phone after I finish here on my live streams. I go into the control room and watch TV on my phone and sit in the couch. But the temperature in here is about. It's a little bit warmer in here than the control room. That's probably the same. It's probably 78, I'd say. Do I rent out the studio nowadays? No. Is my ductwork exposed at all or treated? I don't. It's not exposed. No, it's not exposed anywhere. It's all in the ceilings and stuff. Um, I have the Beato burgers. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm going to do something about it. Soon, I'm going to do something about it. So, it was interesting. I keep thinking about this Andrew Wong thing about him, talking about getting burned out and keeping up this work schedule. He's married. It's like, yeah, I'm married and I have 3 kids, 2 dogs, 2 cats. Um, and it is grueling. This is grueling. Have I done any production work lately? No. I'm retired from producing. I'm retired as long as people keep buying my books, my album, and and the videos that are monetized still. I mean, when I do a video, you know, when I do a video with really complex stuff, they get 15,000 views, maybe if that. Um, so, anyways, um, yeah, so it's just something that um, the thing with burnout is that you only notice it when it's too late. Um, what is the Harrison? What is the future of producers with a real ear for music? I don't know, but the merch we're working on right now. Um, if you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. Yeah, I tell you, it's Why did I get on late today? Tom asked. Because I finished my video at 10 or so and put it out, or after 10. Um, that's why. That's why. I'm gonna go to bed now. Anyways, I'm tired. So you guys are awesome. Thank you. Watch my Boston video. Um, and you should tell us what you can still buy cheap for studios nowadays. I want to do a video like that uh, about that. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that. I've been planning on that. We'll talk. We'll talk. Thank you. Thanks for being here.